Welcome back. All right, so updated version of the power rankings for the reverse retros now that I have them. Anytime that I see jerseys in person, my opinion will usually change a little bit. Not usually a lot, but in the case of the reverse retros, and really in a case of the way that the jerseys are being done now, so the 3D stitching on the logos, which was underwhelming for most teams the first season that they switched over. With this patch of jerseys, they've done very, very nicely. This is a really nice set of jerseys. Ranking them 1 through 32, not so easy, but let us go ahead and take a look at where everybody sits. So at number 32, and I've got these all in alphabetical order here, we have Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia, I like the black around the logo. I like that all of the white on this is 3D stitching, but it's very plain, and seeing it in game and seeing it doesn't strike you as, wow, what a throwback, and it doesn't give you that nostalgic feeling that a throwback should. Now, in Philadelphia's defense, they haven't really changed their design much since they joined the National Hockey League. The one difference being that it's a darker orange that they used to use than what they use now. We like the darker orange better, but we have to move on. All right, so that's number 32. Right there, Philadelphia. Number 31, moving up one spot from where they were the first time that I did this, and that's Chicago. So Chicago moves from 32 to 31. I mean, it is a decent throwback too. 1938 is the number that's on here, and it's a decent throwback. There was a time in the National Hockey League where you didn't have to have the logo on the front of the jersey, so I don't read a whole lot into that. The next one we're going to get into, there wasn't a logo on the front of their jersey back in the day either. It is a lot of stripes. It's okay. But again, in terms of its ranking here, it is 31st. So there you go, number 31, Chicago. Number 30, the other Chicago ends up being number 30, and that's Detroit. So let's just go ahead and put them up next to each other here. Yep, they're very similar, but I do like the Detroit one better. I understand, too, that both of these look better when you see them with the entire jersey they're wearing and everything, but Detroit, for me, gets the nod, but they're very similar. I don't know if either team consulted with the other. I would think probably not. I don't know that Adidas necessarily wouldn't have contacted them and gone, you're doing the same thing the rest of the guys are doing, but hey, it happens. Number 29, and it's another word mark. So it's the Sharks throwback to the 1974 Seals, and honestly, it's fine. I don't think they're doing the white gloves and the white skates, though, which is kind of a chickening out on their part. But again, the funny thing is, there were some California Golden Seals designs I did like. I never liked this color as much as the Oakland A's themed colors, but I understand why they went with these. But it still ends up at number 29 overall. Number 28. Oh, this one's kind of a word mark as well. So the St. Louis Blues drop one spot from where they were, while San Jose drops 5 spots from where they were. This, of course, being the version of what was the prototype. When they initially unveiled the team, this was what they envisioned the logo and the jersey to look like, sort of. This is different than the mock-up was back in 66. But I think what they came up with for the actual team for 67 was better. I think it was better. But anyways, so number 28, St. Louis, dropping from 27. Not the end of the world. It's okay as jerseys go. Okay, so moving on to number 27. The funny thing is that I did this, and I didn't think it through that, Shannon, you got a lot of word marks there that are down towards the bottom of this. So this goes from 21 to 27. And it's for much the same reason that other people talked about. It's more like a third than it is a reverse retro. I mean, it's got some nice designs to it. I would be perfectly fine with this as a third. It reminds me of the Islanders the first time around. The Islanders made a very nice third that they called a reverse retro. Carolina's made a nice third that they're calling a reverse retro. So that's number 27. Again, dropping from 21. Number 26... and here we are. Scooby-Doo eyes it is. So Ottawa moves from 28 to 26. So they move up a little bit. The Scooby-Doo eyes move them up. I can't resist. The logo is nice. It's sharp. The striping is fine too. Again, I do like the Scooby-Doo eyes on the shoulders. I'm a little bit surprised there isn't more 3D stitching with this, but with the logo, with the actual Scooby-Doo eyes, it is tough to really make that logo look different than it does there. So understandable. So that one comes in at 26. Number 25. Hey, it's not a word mark. Dropping, no, same spot they were. Staying in 25th is Anaheim. See Carolina, copy, paste right here. This is a jersey that is really a nice third for Anaheim. And what's interesting is before the thirds, or before the reverse retros were revealed, there was a rumor that Anaheim was going to make the orange third jersey their main jersey, make this the main logo again, and that a white version of that would become the away jersey. The reverse retro may have put those plans on hold. It's hard to sell a white version of that orange jersey when you're trying to sell a reverse retro, which would be virtually identical to the jersey you're trying to sell now as the new road jersey. So yeah, Anaheim ends up coming in 25th. It's a nice enough jersey, but it looks like just a nice Anaheim jersey. Again, I'm not sure how much nostalgia you get with that. Number 24, and moving up from 29. So I originally had this New Jersey Devils as 29th. Seeing it in person, I like it. Somebody pointed out in the comments, I didn't even thought of this, that the way this is stitched, it makes the points here look like they're almost connecting, and that is different than every other jersey that they've had. So I'm not sure why the logo is a slightly different shape, but I do like the throwback. It says 1982, so it's a throwback to the Rockies, the Scouts as well, their heritage and all that. So it's kind of nice to see. I like the raised stitching all the way around here. The blue is all raised stitching, so that's kind of, or raised stitching. You guys know what I mean. That's where the 3D effect is on the outside of all that. It's very nice. And overall, good jersey. Wouldn't mind seeing it stick around. Ends up 24th on this countdown. 23rd. And same spot as where they were originally. And that's Columbus. I love this third jersey, and I'm glad I now have one that I can wear. The one that I have of this third jersey is an extra large. So when I wear it, I look like a kid wearing his dad's jersey. So this one's a 46. You can see all of them are 46s. The seller that I use for these, so Ben H Sports that I use for these, he's had a lot to go through. Like apparently approximately 3,000 jerseys altogether. But he did get me the 46s in each. And so yeah, I do like the logo. I like the old logo on here. I like the hat logo being back on here. And the stripes, or the stars, I should say. And then, of course, the stripe along the sleeve here. It's a nice jersey. It really is. I would like to see this stick around, but don't you dare get rid of the cannon. Why isn't there a white cannon jersey? Why can't Columbus? Why can't they? And I don't want to hear, well, they don't want to change it, so they don't want to make money. All right, cool, fine. Don't get rid of the cannon and make that the third. All right, number 22. One that I think gets too much criticism is Toronto's. Now, one thing with this, the stitching on it's nice. This is felt material. Very nice the way this is all stitched on. All of this here. It's actually a very well put together jersey. I really like the neckline as well. It's got the cross under here, which a lot of the Winter Classics have had as well. And the NHL logo moves down. It's a very well put together jersey. I understand how it looks like their current jersey, but I don't understand some of the criticism for it. It may hold back sales. There's probably a lot of Toronto fans looking at this going, well, I already basically have that. It is different. This logo is made different. It's very nice, and I think it's slightly underrated. Number 21 on the charts, I'm looking at a board right there, is Colorado. So Colorado originally was 26th. They move up to 21st. Why? I do like the way this logo is done quite a bit. Again, you've got the raised 3D effect all the way around the C here. I do like the Colorado logo on the shoulders. I really do like the stripes down the sleeves too, and of course the mountain at the bottom like your Avalanche jerseys have. This of course being an homage to the Colorado Rockies, as well as the theme of the Colorado state flag, which is why the Colorado Rockies had those colors in the first place. And so yeah, this is I think a decent jersey. I do like when Colorado has this logo in the middle. They've had that, of course, on their stadium jerseys. They did that as well. It looked very nice there, too. I wouldn't mind seeing a third full-time where they have this as the main logo and then just change up around it. All right, moving on from Colorado to number 20. And these guys dropped from where they were originally. They were 16th. And I'm going to explain why. So with the Buffalo ones, it really is the striping that ended up dropping it down a little bit. I understand the striping is a throwback to another era and all that stuff. But it's just there's a lot of white in here. There's not a lot to break it up. I do think that the logo kind of gets lost on the background a little bit. I do not have the brand new third jersey, the goat head on black and red. I intend to get that relatively soon, although I'm not as worried about it because I already have one that's very, very similar. I have the I believe it's a Coho is the one that I have that fits and looks fine. So this is okay, but again, it ends up in 20th on the overall countdown. So it did drop from 16th. Number 19 is right here. Moving up from 20 to 19, the Nashville Predators. So bonus points for getting the Meth Tigers look right, making it look completely bonkers crazy. Raised stitching here on the teeth, which is nice. Raised here as well. I do like that the word mark this time is actually it's actually patched down. So originally this Nashville here, and I have it on my jersey, and the Nashville's intact, which is rare. So when you look them up on eBay, you're going to see, sometimes you'll see like I saw one that was just the letter N, and the rest of the word was gone. And it's understandable because it was just felt, and it would be very easy for that to come off. So I don't wear that jersey very often. This one I can wear a little bit more. I do like the shoulder patches. But where it failed for me was, why not blue? They've had 2 reverse retros now, and neither of them have been blue. And then when they did the blue, it was the Smashville, and I wasn't a big fan of the Smashville. So I was very disappointed when it was blue, and then it just, to quote the Matrix, not like this. Not like this. All right, number 18, dropping from where they were initially from 14, is Seattle. I like this one quite a bit. Yes, I do. But they dropped because others just passed it. That's the thing when I do power rankings. Sometimes it's not that I dislike things more than another. I just feel that something else has passed it. So, yeah, for Seattle, this is a throwback to the 1951 Seattle Ironman. It really is a mirror image of the old Ironman jersey. So it's a very well done item. I'd like to see them at some point do some kind of a tie-in with the Thunderbirds too. But anyways, that's a ways off. We don't have a proper third from them yet either. I'm looking forward to seeing a third, which has their secondary logo on the front. Notice the secondary logo's not on this jersey. So we'll see. We'll see. So number 17, moving up one spot from where they were initially, the New York Rangers. I've talked about how I prefer this to the other reverse retro. I do like that it's in the original Rangers colors. And they gave us the Liberty jersey. We wanted Liberty jerseys. We now have had 2 of them in the last couple of years. We'll see if there's something else up their sleeve with this. I do hope that we see something with this logo on the front. This coat of arms on the front, I think would work really, really well. And so, yeah, the raised is on the NYR here. The rest of the logo is very similar to the old jerseys. But the NYR is raised, and it's pretty nice. All right. So that's number 17. Number 16... and moving up 3 spots from where they were initially is Vegas. So the glow-in-the-dark aspect is nice. It is a nice jersey. I do like it. It does have just the one shoulder here with the regular logo on it, the gold neckline. Overall, it's nice, and seeing them on the ice, I like them. Some jerseys look better with name and numbers. I think this is one of those, too, that does look better with name and numbers. I don't intend to do what I did last time, which was order some with name and numbers. Not intended to do that this time. But yeah, so Vegas, I think did really well on this, and it ends up being 16th. Number 15, and dropping from where they were initially. They were 11th when I first did this, and that's Minnesota. So for Minnesota, they really did just do an exact mirror copy of the white one they did a couple years ago. It's 1978. It's the same. And it would have been interesting to see how they would have done a throwback to the 1987 Minnesota North Stars when they had a little bit of black in there as well. Now, they might be avoiding that because that does tend to sort of start looking like a Dallas Stars jersey. But still, I do like this quite a bit. I like the logo, of course. We all know that the logos on the Minnesota Wild jerseys, the 3D stitching on them, very well done. It's the reason why when they came out with the prime green jerseys, I made sure I got the new Minnesota jersey, because I do like the raised stitching on that. A lot of them you couldn't really tell, but some of them you could, and I thought Minnesota was one of them. All right, number 14. Moving up from 17 to 14 is the Washington Capitals. So for the Caps, I really like the texture on the stars, the copper color. I like the shiny copper coloring there. That's very nice. Very well done. I do prefer the other Caps jersey. I'm pretty sure when I did a power rankings of the red reverse retro they did a couple years ago, I think it was top 3. So this one doesn't get quite that same rating from me. There's a lot of black here, and of course with the Black Eagle as well. On TV, it can kind of look boring, but in person, it's not. This is a nice one, and again, this one might be one that looks better with a name and number on it. Just throwing that out there. For anybody who might be on the fence about whether or not they're going to get a name and number on it, some of them look a lot better with it. All right, number 13. Dropping one spot from 12, where I initially had them, is the Montreal Canadiens. So it says here 1979, but as we've said previously, this is it's a jersey for Montreal Expo fans. Basically, UP wearing this is as close as I think we're going to get seeing Montreal Expos for a while. And as a former Expos fan, it makes me feel sad because I miss the Expos. I do. In Canada, it's kind of just Blue Jays, but I miss the Expos, and I think it's sad that MLB will, sell all kinds of hats and jerseys and everything. They won't bring the team back. So they'll take your money. They won't bring back your team. The NHL does it as well, I'm well aware. But yeah, Montreal, I think, did well with this. This ends up at 13, so a little bit above the average. The raised, of course, is the outside of the logo. It's nice enough, but it ends up at 13. Number 12 is this one here. Moves up from 15, and that's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one that as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's better than I thought it would be. I've always been on the fence with this logo. The corporate-looking penguin, as it was called at the time, the Robo Penguin, however you want to look at it. It is an interesting logo in that the Penguins won back-to-back Stanley Cups and then changed their design, and I thought, they don't win with that new design, so... Right? And so now they're back to the other, and they've won a bunch of Stanley Cups since they went back. So I don't think this ever becomes their primary again. But I do like it. I know that there are some comparisons between this and a Bruins jersey, but it was Pittsburgh that wanted to get the black and gold going. I did a video on it, too, on how Boston tried to prevent them from using black and gold, and Pittsburgh said no, and a court decided you can't actually have colors just for yourself and say no other team in the league can wear them. So good. That's good. But yeah, there's Pittsburgh, and in all their glory, I like this one quite a bit. I do hope they keep that one around. Number 11, and this one moves up from 13 where it was originally, and it's the Arizona. So this was number 1 when it was the purple one for the reverse retros, the first round. I really had thought that this sienna color would be dramatically different, sort of a tan color. It does look very orange in general, but I do kind of like some of the things down here. It did impress me more in person. I will say that the coloring of the face on the Coyote it's curious, it's different. I just wonder if Arizona's going to sort of drive the whole Space Coyote into the ground. That's the only problem I have, is that if they do actually come out with a third jersey that is the Space Coyote, there is that law of diminishing returns, and eventually people stop buying the material. Number 10, Vancouver Canucks. So the Canucks were 10th first time. They're 10th now. What I'm wearing is the Johnny Canucks. This is the fashion jersey I got from the Canucks store, the last one they had. Haven't seen it again. And this is, of course, their reverse retro. The reason I wanted to wear this and have them next to each other is because there are people who really like this logo and really don't like this one and think it looks goofy. They both look goofy. They're like, it's weird to me what people will get upset about. So I don't see a huge difference between them, and I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with that one at all. I think that's just fine as a logo. So's this. It's good. I do like the colors. I do like the Canucks did something different. It would have been easy for them just to take a skate jersey, slap a different color scheme on it, and go, here you go, and people would have eaten it up. There's a little bit more of a chance being taken there, and I respect that. Number 9, right next to it, Winnipeg. So the Jets dropped from 8th to 9th. Overall, this is a very nice jersey, very well made. Your raised stitching is on the outside of the stick here, which is odd. A little bit of a raise here, and around as well, but not on this side. It's strange how on just the right side there's raised stitching, and on the left side of everything there isn't. But it's a nice jersey, and you have the Goals for Kids style throwback there as well. So that's nice to see. And Winnipeg, you see right there, 1990, paying homage to the previous franchise that was there, which of course is now the Arizona Coyotes. It's a shame the Coyotes don't do a Jets throwback just so then they can play against each other. And hey, I've done it in NHL games where I've had Arizona wearing Winnipeg and Winnipeg wearing Winnipeg and gone, this is great. It's Winnipeg against themselves. All right, number 8, right here, New York Islanders. So the Islanders were number 7. They're now number 8. So it's not a big change. One thing that I mentioned when I did the video the other day on this is I do like the overall look of this logo better. One other video I'm going to do is looking at the jerseys that the reverse retros are throwing back to and doing that comparison. So right here it's 1995, easy enough. To know with this one too, but with some of these, I'm going to try to find the one in my collection that most closely is associated with the date they have on there. But yeah, I think it's fine. I never thought I would see the day that an Islanders team wore the Fisherman again, but we're there. I would think under Lou they'll wear it the absolute bare minimum that they have to, because again, it's not associated with a great period of time for the New York Islanders, and kudos to them for being willing to do that when there was a portion of their fan base that still said, do we remember what happened when we had the Fisherman? It was not a great time. Number 7, right here. So it's my Grail jersey. Oh, almost dropped it and caught it. There you go. So it drops from 6 to 7. This is my Grail jersey, and that is the one that I was chasing, and I finally have. It is not the original, of course. It's the reverse retro version. That's just fine. I don't need the other one then, because on eBay they're like $700 plus, and I look at that and go, no. As I've said before, jerseys in my collection, I've ended up spending a lot less than people think I have on them. But yeah, this one I've always liked. I've always admired that they had the courage to wear this on the ice, that they actually had this design. I will point out too, and my wife's talked about this, how they stitch in the fight strap. It can sort of detract from the jersey itself. I do wonder if when Adidas is done and we get a new manufacturer with jerseys, if we'll still have fight straps for retail jerseys, because these are made to be worn without equipment. Like the jerseys that I've got a couple of authentics, and they're huge because they're made to be worn over equipment. So these aren't. So why the fight strap? It's the weirdest thing. They fit fine. This is a 46, which is a size small. Fits me just fine. A fight strap would insinuate that I could somehow put on a bunch of pads and everything and still wear this. I can't. So it's bizarre. All right. Sue them for that. Number 6, going over to this end, and it's the Boston Bruins. So the Boston Bruins move from number 9 to number 6. Really, really like this one quite a bit. And I think it reveals that, yes, the problem with the Paddington Bear jersey, the Pooh Bear jersey, is that it was on a yellow background. I really think that's what it was. Although Bruins fans at the time were very upset at the idea that Harry Sinden wanted to change it to this. He did. He was like, yeah, no, that we're going to make that. And then Bruins fans said, no, you're not. And so once there was enough backlash against the yellow version of this jersey, any talk of making a white and a black or a yellow and a black version of these jerseys and make that your regular jerseys, it went away. But I still think it's nice. There's some bravery to this, and I know I've seen people talk about the striping. Well, that's how it was done originally. That's how a throwback works. You kind of have to keep all of the ugly elements in, like Tampa did. You kind of got to keep them in if you're going to really, really nail this assignment. All right, we're into the top 5. Number 5 is Edmonton. The gear jersey, number 5 overall. Really like this one quite a bit. I like this one more than the original. I think the orange works really well with it. I do think that they've done a much better job. The original one to me looked very LA Kings-like. Very, very similar. This one is an Oilers jersey. It's got the logo that I like on the shoulder as well. I think that this was a brave decision that they made initially when they went to this jersey as a third. I think because they had to keep paying McFarlane if they used it. I think that's part of the reason that they eventually ditched it. But I do think it's nice. And of course, you've got 5 dots here on the gear, which represents Stanley Cup wins. So nicely done. Something the Islanders are known for too, with their 4 cup wins, and there's 4 stripes on a lot of their jerseys they've worn recently, and 4 stripes on the stick as well. All right, moving into the top 4, and at number 4, down from number 1. So no longer number 1, the Calgary Flames, but still very highly rated. Love these in game. I love, and I mean the whole outfit from head to toe looks really, really sharp when they're out there. I still think this one's really nice. I know that I'm in the minority. I know that this is one that a lot of people said, "Oh no, 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 that's not a thing. This is terrible." But I like it. I do. I like it. And while other people may hate it, I don't, and I haven't. But again, maybe it's because I'm old and I just like things that I go, "Hey, I remember that from 20 years ago." So this is 1995. A lot of 95s. Number 3. And this is where it gets really tough, because number 3 is the LA Kings, the white version. And the dots here are raised all the way around the crown. All these down here as well. The crown itself is fantastic. It's huge. The crown is huge. So here's my head and here's the crown. It is a huge logo, but most are on jerseys now, which is nice. The old CCMs, the logos were kind of small. So it's one way to tell fakes is sometimes the logos are bigger on the fakes. But this is a really nice jersey. It is nice and white. Jim Fox mentioned on a broadcast too, when they were wearing these, that the team wore a white version of the jerseys exactly like this for specialty games when they'd be playing, with the Lakers and playing, just like if you're playing baseball, whatever. And that they went to management and said, "We'd really like to see a white version of these jerseys on the ice." And management said no. So he said, "It took 40 years, but we finally got it." So there you go. They finally got that after 40 years. So Dallas, Florida. Let's get into which one's number 2 and which one's number 1. Number 2 is Dallas. This one has moved up from number 4. Really, really like this. The way that the star is made is fantastic. That's very, very nicely done. I do like that they didn't do the star design like they did last time. They could have done a black version of the star, and I think that would have been popular too. But this is a very nice look, and it throws back to '93 when I really did like their jerseys quite a bit. And I'm glad they did something with that era, because it was fun. And so I'm kind of anxious to do the video where I look at them side by side and compare this to that first year where they were in Dallas and they didn't have the word mark over the name Stars yet. And then at number 1, Florida. So Florida moves up from number 3 to number 1. This might be my favorite jersey that I own. Absolutely might be. Now there's definitely some excitement when I first get certain jerseys that might, wane over time. But what I like with this is that it's a throwback to a third that they used. That's why they've got the FLA on the shoulders. That's from that third jersey. I really like the raised stitching on all of the triangles all the way around the sun here. And I think it's just really well made. This secondary logo they always had on the shoulder looks very nice on the front. You still know it's the Florida Panthers. And yeah, I think it's kind of sort of fantastic. The striping and everything, it's a throwback, but they finally did something that, like the last reverse retro looked very nice, but it was extremely similar to jerseys they'd already worn prior. So this one is something completely different. And Dallas's is as well. So you end up with number 2, number 1, and there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.